This program is a production of Devil's Mark Ministries, LLC. If you would like more information on Devil's Mark Ministries, please go to devilsmarkministries.org.
This program is part of the Devil's Mark Podcast Network, the official podcast network of Shadow Path Diabolism. This is the Dark Illumination Report Podcast, the official podcast of Shadow Path Diabolism, your daily dose of Diabolonian philosophy to inspire you on your journey down the crooked shadow path. Here's your host, R.J. Womack, Brother Nero.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Brother Nero, and this is the Dark Illumination Report podcast, the podcast where we try to promote the religious worship of Satan and demons as a serious faith and way of life, and we try to help our fellow diabolists down their journey down the crooked shadow path. On today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about blood oaths and pacts, which we've talked about previously on this podcast, but I think it's critically important that we talk about it in a more serious manner than maybe we have before. Now, before I get into making pacts with the devil, I want to talk about the way we see the devil and the reason we use the term the devil more often than we do Satan or Lucifer. Now, for many people coming from a Christian background, Satan and Lucifer has a very specific meaning, and it has a very specific psychological impact on them as individuals. So when we use the term the devil, it has a very almost fantasy folklore type of idea about it. The devil means more than just Satan, Lucifer. It means the god of the witches. It can mean Pan. It can mean Carnunus. It can mean a lot of different deities to a lot of different people. And it allows the people that come to this ministry to break away from their Christian mindset about the subject of the devil and start to look at him as something more, something beyond Satan and Lucifer. We find that the members that come to us or the new people that come to us, the candidates or people that listen to the podcast, find it much easier to relate to Satan as the devil than to refer to him in his more Christian terms, because that makes it easier for them to deprogram themselves from the Christianity. Plus, we believe that the devil is a multifaceted entity that goes by many names and has many guises. For some people, he is Carnunus. For some people, he is the horn god. For some people, he is even Odin, like myself, for example. I've always associated Satan, the devil, Lucifer with Odin. Now, there's a lot of people who would disagree with that, but that's how he's always appeared to me. And I am not the only one that has come to this ministry with that belief, and I am certainly not the only Satanist that has that belief, or diabolist that has that belief. So that's what we're talking about. When we use the term the devil, it's generic enough that people can break free from their Christian concept of Satan, Lucifer, the devil. So we try to work that in there and give them more of an approach to the devil that's more based in folklore and based in ancient paganism and witchcraft, and the idea of the devil as Pan more than Satan, Lucifer. Now, that does not mean that we run away from the concept of Satan or Lucifer. We're not afraid of it. We're not ashamed of it. We admit openly that Satan and Lucifer, in our view, is the same God as the devil or Pan or Carnunus, or by whatever name you might want to call him, Hern or whatever. But we choose to use the term the devil just to help people deprogram themselves from the Christianity, which is one of the main reasons people get into Satanism, is to deprogram themselves from Christianity. So that tends to help. The other thing that's critical to point out here is that for us, Satan is not a god of destruction. He's not a god of evil out to destroy the universe or to trick mankind into committing some kind of sin against the Christian God. To us, we believe it is Satan and the other demonic gods, which is our name for the demons, that gave us free will and self-awareness. They're the ones that gave us the ability to think for ourselves and evolve into what we became as mankind. Whether you actually believe there was an evolutionary process and the demons just jumped in and kind of gave us a head start in our evolution, or whether you believe they literally gave us that spark of intelligence and self-awareness from the beginning, is really a matter of personal choice. But for us, Satan is a god of nature, or the devil is a god of nature, a god of wisdom, a god of personal growth and development. And that's what we believe in. This idea that Satan is a destructive force or an evil force is nonsense. It's a bunch of nonsense created by Christianity. And we see him more as a god of nature and balance. And the best way to serve him and the best way to worship him is to live the best life you can and to have a balanced life and to live your life in the most balanced way possible. People will ask, do you really believe in the Christian God? I believe the Christian God does exist, and most of the people in this tradition believe that the Christian God exists, but we believe he's a parasitic entity. We believe that he lives off the pain and misery of others, and we believe that's where he gets his power to exist from. He is not as powerful as he claims to be. He is certainly not the creator of the universe, and we don't see him as a positive force. And we feel the best way to distance yourself from him, or the best way to get free from his influence, is to just ignore him and live your life and be as happy as possible. Now that brings us to another point, which is because we don't believe Satan is a destructive entity out to destroy the universe, and we don't buy into the Christian concepts about Satan, it also is obvious that we believe that the philosophy of Shadow Path Diabolism is a life-affirming philosophy, a positive philosophy, a philosophy that encourages people to grow and to live the best life possible. Now, you may be asking yourself, if we believe that diabolism, Shadow Path Diabolism specifically, is a life-affirming religion, then why do we feel the need to make a blood oath? Or why do we feel the need to make a blood pact with the devil? Now, first of all, we believe that each and every person has the right to choose whether or not to make a blood oath with the devil or with the demonic gods. But we encourage people to do this because we are traditionalists. We believe in the old ways of doing things, the traditional witchcraft way of doing things, the medieval devil worship way of doing things. We're very much into ancient tradition and ancient paganism and ancient demonolatry sort of things. So that's kind of what we're into. So in our tradition, we believe in doing things the old way. So of course, it only seems logical that we would encourage our members to make a pact. It's not just because we're trying to keep tradition, but we believe there is a spiritual reason for that. We believe that once you make a pact with Satan and you're serious about it and you're genuine, the spirits will respect that and they'll honor that and they'll impart certain knowledge to you. At least that's been our experience. Will it happen with everybody? No. In fact, we don't know why the demons speak to some people or communicate with some people and don't speak with others or communicate with others and make themselves known to others. That's not something we have control of. It's not something that we're in charge of. And it's certainly not something that we can promise to anyone, because it's not within our power to tell you whether Satan or the demons will communicate with you. It's up to them. Your relationship with them is between you and them. But the reason that we take these spiritual commitments so seriously is because we do believe in the old ways of doing things. And as we pointed out, Shadow Path Diabolism is a religion that believes in the importance of honor, integrity, keeping one's word. It's very much like heathenry, or very much like very old warrior cultures, and so we believe that the way you show your commitment to the gods is by making a blood oath with them, saying to them, this is what I will do for you. These are the promises that I make to you. These promises that I make to you are eternal, and I will see them through. And so the way you do that, the way you seal that oath, is with blood. This is not only a way that you see it done in the movies, but it's also been done in ancient cultures, where if you wanted to seal a pact between nations or between groups of people, the leaders of those tribes would make blood oaths with each other and make a commitment and make a promise to each other, and they would seal it with blood. So this is a very ancient way of doing things. It's just a way of saying to the gods, look, I'm committed to this. I'm serious about this. I believe in this. This is an eternal commitment. There's a lot of people who will tell you to make a temporary pact. We are exactly the opposite. We actually don't believe in encouraging our members to make temporary pacts with the demons or with the devil. We believe that you shouldn't make a pact with the devil or with the demonic gods unless you're totally committed to it, unless you're 100% committed to this way of life and you're kind of ride or die sort of person. You don't make temporary pacts. There's a lot of people who will suggest that you can make a temporary pact, but it's just not the way it's done among people that are serious about their worship of Satan and the demons. It would be much better to pray to Satan, to make an informal commitment to Satan and wait until you were sure that this is the path for you and then make your formal pact than it is to actually do it kind of temporarily and kind of do it half-heartedly, because it doesn't mean anything. It's just a joke like everything else. It's gotten to the point where everything related to Satanism is just a gimmick. It's just a costume. People wear basically this cheap-ass pagan, this pentagram jewelry. They wear this cheap-ass fucking corpse paint. They do all these things that don't mean anything. They're just symbols. They're just symbols over substance. And we'd rather people take their time, make sure their commitment is genuine, make sure they're sure about what they believe in, make sure that they want to dedicate their life to this path and this way of doing things before they make a pact. Now, you can ultimately do whatever you want, and everybody has the power and the right to do whatever they want. We believe Satan gave them the free will to make whatever choice they want to make. So we're not saying that our way is the only way, and we're not saying that our way is necessarily the right way. Satan gave every individual the right to choose their own path. So if you want to do something completely different from what I'm suggesting here, you have every right to do that. Satan gave you that right, and I can't take it away from you. I'm just suggesting to you that if you want to be serious about your commitment to Satan or to the demons or to the demonic gods in general, you always need to think about it first. You always need to be patient and take time to think about your commitment and make sure that you're very serious about it. Make sure that you want to dedicate your life to this path and make sure that it's truly what you want. You shouldn't make any spiritual commitment to any entity if you're not 100% sure about what you believe and why you believe it. For me, the pact that I made with Satan when I was 12 was an eternal commitment. It was something that I took very seriously. It's something that I still take seriously. My commitment to my beliefs and to my God have not changed. And one of the things I want to make clear to everyone here in this podcast is while I do use Shadow Path Diabolism rather than Satanism for my tradition, and I do use Shadow Path Diabolism on a day-to-day basis, I don't want people to get the impression that my dedication to the devil, to Satan, to Lucifer has changed. The only thing that I reject from contemporary Satanism is the behavior of the people who call themselves Satanist. Most of the people in modern Satanism behave in a way that I think is disrespectful to the gods and is disrespectful to the religion of Satanism. I think it's taken far too lightly, not taken seriously enough, and I think people make a joke of Satanism. So I choose not to be a part of it. But it has nothing to do with my personal commitment to Satan. My personal commitment to Satan has not changed since I was 12 years old, and it will not change. It's an eternal commitment, and I would suggest to you that you take your commitments to Satan equally as seriously. Anyway, that's it for today. Take care, everybody. May Satan be with you. Until next time, later.
If you would like to learn more about the Shadow Path Diabolism tradition of occultism, go to rjwomack.com. That's rjwomack.com. If you enjoyed this podcast and support our message, tell a friend, leave us a review, and follow us on social media.